Your armpits and your side body, straighten your elbows, keep reaching and breathing. And exhale slowly all the way back down, bring your arms back down to your side. Inhale one more time all the way up. And exhale all the way down. Feeling your core just engage without you even telling it to as you exhale. The final moments of your exhale, you should feel your core start to engage. Then you're going to slowly turn to your side and work your way up to tabletop. So the earth might feel a little funny because it's not perfectly flat. So just watch out for the little bumps on the ground where you put your hands and knees. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, keep your hands under your shoulders. Push the ground away a little bit, just to have a little puffiness in between your shoulder blades. Keep the back of your neck nice and long, crown of your head pointing forward. Inhale, look up. Arch your back, untuck your tailbone. Feel your shoulder blades come together, broaden your collarbones, open up your chest. Feel your shoulders externally rotating forward. And as you exhale, you're going to reverse. Tuck your chin in, round your upper back, tuck your tail under. Push the ground away. Shoulders rolling in. Inhale, reverse. Vertebra by vertebra. But keeping that little puffiness in the back where your shoulder blades are. Good. Front of your neck nice and long. Exhale, reverse. Tuck your chin in, round your shoulder blades, internally rotate your shoulders, round your low back, tuck your tailbone under. Push the ground away. Okay, inhale back to tabletop. And this time we're going to do more of a free cat-cow. So you're going to inhale, but you're going to start to move your hips, start to circulate them side to side, move with your shoulders while you're keeping your hands planted, and just move into your stiff spots. Find a stiff part of your hip or your shoulder and move into it. Feel that capsule stretch. Feel it open. You can roll back into a child's pose, back up into a tabletop. Do whatever feels good to your body. Use this time to listen to what your body needs and just open up. You know, a lot of times people ask me, like, what is yoga about? Is it just to stretch or do I tone? And it's just like, yoga is just to make our body feel good. And you know, if we take that time to listen to our body will tell us how to heal ourselves if you make the time. Okay, so from this position, you're going to flip your feet under and we're going to move into a downward dog. So work your way slowly into your downward dog. Walk your dog slowly. Good. Open up those hips. Bend the knees one by one. Move your shoulders around. And whenever you're ready, set up into your downward dog. Okay. Bring your ribs up a little bit. Shoot your tailbone towards the sky. Keep your feet a little bit closer together. Push the ground away. Keep your ears between your biceps. Push your feet a little bit closer together. Awesome. Inhale, bring your right leg up for a three-legged dog. So we're going to keep our hips closed for the three-legged dog. Almost feel like you're planting this back foot against a wall. So you're going to bring your toes up. Keep pushing the ground away, equal weight between both hands. Keeping your ribs down. Good. Now you're going to shoot that leg up higher and you're going to open up your hips. Let that knee bend softly. Keep pushing equally through both hands. Good. Feel that right hip open up. Feel the stretch in your left inner thigh. Keep your shoulders square. Straighten that leg back up. Come down into your three-legged dog. Close your hips. Bring it all the way down for a downward dog. Okay, come down for a child's pose just to give your arms a break. Keeping your elbows closer towards your ears, putting both hands on the back of your neck towards your shoulder blades. Good. Reaching back towards your tailbone if you can, feeling that stretch underneath your triceps. Good. Okay, let's go back into tabletop. And then we're going to do the downward dog and three-legged dog on the other side. You're going to inhale your right leg up, or left leg. Keeping your hips square. Good. Keep your elbows straight, push the ground equally with both hands. Good. Shoot that leg up, bend the knee, let it fall towards your side for open hip three-legged dog. Keep your shoulders square. Feel the stretch in your right inner thigh, but push that right heel down towards the ground. Come back into your three-legged dog. Close your hips, straighten the leg, and bring your leg back down. You're going to walk your hands back towards your feet. And then actually you're going to inhale all the way up and bring your hands down to heart center. And you're going to turn around and you're going to face each other. Well, Hazel and Lorna can turn around. You're just going to face each other and we're going to work on mountain pose. Okay, so you're going to keep your feet maybe a little bit wider than you normally would keep your feet. So slightly in between your hips. Good. You're going to spread your toes as wide as they possibly can go. And you're going to aim to keep that center line parallel with each other. So your second big toe line. Okay, so you're going to look at the feet of the person in front of you. And you're going to look for that straight line. And then you should be able to look at their heels and see that they're equally weight-bearing from the left and right side of that heel. So with Kristen, she's a little bit putting more weight on the inside of her heel. So you'd want to turn so that your weight is more on the outside. Perfect. See how your arch is lifted there? Now you have a much sturdier stance. And we all generally do this. So see how we see more heel on this side than this side? So you're going to turn your heel so slightly more weight on that outer edge. Good. Same with you, Hazel. Awesome. Now you're going to put your hands on the outside of your bum. And then you're going to let your feet go back the way they were. and then open up your feet again. Do you feel that difference in your hips? Do you feel how your hips opened up? Good. So when we do that, we're actually strengthening our pelvic floor as well. So let your hips roll in towards each other, even let your knees come in a little bit. See how your feet will fall in towards each other. And then when you open your knees, keep a soft bend to your knees, open your feet, and you open that whole leg. So think of this whole leg as a spiral. So when you're opening up the hip, you're spiraling all the way up to the top of the hip. Good, now you're gonna look to the person to your left or right. When you look, the hip should be right over the ankle. And a lot of us will spend time standing with our hips in front of the ankle. So how we know is that if our hips are aligned is if we can see the tops of our ankles. So if everybody looks down at the top of their ankle, by doing that, we're putting our hips over our ankles, right? We can't see our ankles if our hips are in front of us. So if you shift your weight so that you're looking at your ankles, now you've put your center of gravity where it should be. It might feel like you're falling backward or forward because we're not used to it, but it's actually a much stronger stance. Now you're going to open your hands forward. Roll your shoulder blades slightly back and down. Good, get long through the back of your neck. So this part of your head should be shooting up towards the sky. Perfect. Good. And all of us are doing a good job keeping our ribs down. But just in case you see this in class a lot, you want to make sure that the ribs stay right over the pelvis and ankles. So when our ribs are in front of our body, then we'll tend to put too much weight in our, too much pressure in our low back. And that happens because we are maybe former dancers, or what did you do when you were young? You didn't do dance? Gymnastics. Gymnasts and ballet, we're taught to, keep your chest up so it puts too much pressure on your back. So you want to keep your ribs down over your pelvis. Good. You're going to inhale your arms up, reach up towards the sky, but try to keep your chest, your sternum facing forward. We're not lifting the rib yet for a back bend. And then get your arms all the way back. No? Okay. Well, then work on it. Straighten your elbows, reach your fingertips. The more you work on it, eventually it'll happen. Keep your elbows straight and keep your ears, your biceps as close to your ears as possible. Feel your rib spaces expand. And then if you start to move into a back bend, so if you're only just bending from your low back and you hinge backwards from your low back, feel how much pressure there is there. Now bring your shoulders back over your waist. Hello. But if you keep your hands there and you start to just lift your chest towards the sky, but you keep your rib cage over your waist or your hips, feel how different that feels. So start to just lift your chest towards the sky, keeping your low back still for now. Then you can start to lift even higher, lift your chest higher. Squeeze your bum, push your hips forward, tuck your tailbone under. And now you're bending with your whole back instead of just the low back. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, so we're gonna start with Jillian just because she's right here. We're gonna do it again so we can watch that, okay? So you're gonna lift your arms up, you're gonna inhale. You're gonna keep your ribs down first. You're gonna keep your elbows straight. Good, looking forward. Then when we move into a back bend, you're gonna just start by lifting your chest. Good. Keeping your ribs down still while you lift your chest. That's the hard part. So just lift your chest up. Start with your forehead. Forehead up, chin up, chest up. Then you can start to tip from here and then here. Squeeze your hips, squeeze your bum, let your hips come forward. And now the back bend comes from the whole back. Do we see the difference there? Instead of just going straight back and then it's just low back, right? And then here it's segment by segment. Did you want? Let's try that one more time.
You're gonna go through each one?
Pardon?
Are you going through each one of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can we go next?
Yep.
Okay.
But you need to know I have a shoulder issue. My shoulders won't go all the way.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you for telling me. Okay, so you're gonna inhale your arms up. Good. If that's as far as you can go, then you can start tipping from your forehead, looking up, chin looking up, just as far as you can go. And then chest starts to lift, but still keeping our ribs down as far as you can. Then when everything has lifted, then you're gonna lift your ribs up, squeeze your bum, shift your pelvis forward. Good. You can squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit there to help you. And then come on back. Do you feel a difference there?
Huge.
Yeah. Good. Okay, inhale your arms up. Start here. Start with ribs down and hips back first. Good. So shoot your elbows up, straighten your elbows, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Okay, then you can start. So good. Forehead, chin, throat lifting, opening segment by segment. Chest up, ribs up. Squeeze your bum. Shift your hips forward. Awesome. Good. And come back down. Slowly. Good. Do you feel the difference between just going straight into, yeah, and we all do that, like automatic, because we're all flexible in our low back. Well, generally. So our low back is made to be more flexible than our trunk. So we're just used to like dumping so much weight in our low back. And this is what I was mentioning earlier. We were talking about some awareness, and it's just we will tend to do what's easier for our body, right? So because we tend to use our back, when we bend over, we use our back. When we lift something, we use our back. And so it's all the things that we're doing to our back instead of recruiting all the other parts of our body to do some work, right? All right, Kristen, go ahead. So start here, start here. Start just standing. We're not doing a back bend yet. Okay? Inhale in. So when you bring your arms close to your ears, that already engages your shoulder blades. So you're already helping out your back by doing that. Start here, good. We're starting in our mountain pose legs, but just our arms are up. This is pretty much mountain pose, right? Except our arms are up. Shoulder blades are engaged, good. And then go ahead. Good, forehead, chin, throat. Keep your arms together, squeeze, good. Then you lift your ribs, you can shift your hips forward, squeeze your bum. Keep your arms in, good. And then exhale to heart center. It's hard to use our arms, and we're gonna do chair next, but we'll tend to keep our arms out, but we gotta use our arms, keep our weight upward too. Yeah, for a lot of us. Yeah, you wanna try? So we were doing back bends. Well, we're starting a back bend from mountain pose. So inhale up, good. So squeeze a little bit more. So up, good. Forehead first, forehead first.
Oh, I missed the memo.
Sorry, forehead first.
Okay.
Forehead, chin, throat open, then chest open, then ribs. Squeeze your bum, shift your hips forward. Awesome. Good.
Oh, that's intense.
It is intense. It's much harder than just bending back. So like, have you guys ever done a Bikram class? I remember I'd see people like look back at me. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's what they would say. Look back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, further.
And break your back.
That's how they teach it.
Go back and break your back. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not good for your back. Like you have to.
Look back, go back. And then it's like a snap of the hands. And out.
Yeah, and then I hear the back snap. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's really hard on your back. So see how like they were recruiting like every part of your upper body, even your legs, to help you out, right? So, okay. So from here, we're gonna start with that good foot posture again, and we're gonna make our way down to chair. So everybody show me your good feet. Awesome. So everybody look at Patricia's feet because she's late.
She didn't get the cues.
Good. Spread your toes. And reach your big toes towards each other a little bit. There.
But
'Cause
then
it's
my
more-
kneecaps go in. You
Yep.
told me to think
Yep.
kneecaps out.
Yep, I
Okay.
know. So then let your feet fall down.
Okay.
Good. And big toes towards each other. Good. So the more wide. Hi, Catherine.
Come on in.
Welcome.
Do we have another mat?
I don't have one on me, but it's okay.
I got a towel. We can share.
We can share.
That looks like it.
Yeah, come over here. Yep, it's in there.
Okay, just
Yep.
in here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when our toes are spread, we have more weight, more surface, sorry, to put weight through our body. So it's easier to stand with more surface area, right? So when Patricia spreads her toes, her knees go in a little bit. Can we see that? Whereas if you were to stand with your feet turned out, then her knees look like they're straight, and that feels comfortable on her knees, right? So if your feet go back straight, then the knees won't be so happy. So we got to make sure that everything is lined up and happy. So with your feet straight, you'd get your knees nice and soft.
You want them back turned
I
in?
want straight. I want your feet straight and aligned. Good. Let's start with your feet again.
Back in?
Yep. So then arches are lifted, good. Toes are spread, but keep your toes nice and soft so they're not grippy.
Okay.
Then your knees are going to be soft. Good. And then you're going to open your knees away from each other so they're spiraling. Remember that spiral, right? We want to open up the inside of our legs because we tend to sit with our legs crossed and everything will turn in. Or if we tend to be, nervous or scared about things, we'll hold things inward. So it's hard to be open, especially through our hips. But when you open up your feet, you'll open up the whole lower chain. So we're spiraling outward, and now we have a little bit space between your legs, which is good. Relax your toes.
No, this is my bad knee. How many hours have we done this? Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this again.
So we were talking earlier about language.
Stupid knee.
Don't call it your bad knee
Oh my God,
or your
somebody else
stupid knee.
said it.
We were just
Somebody
talking
said it's a special knee. And
because
I'm like, okay, I have a special knee. Okay.
okay. Good.
Is that in good place?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
everybody, can you see?
I'm struggling with my toe to keep my knee.
Yeah, and it's work.
Okay.
And sometimes it's too much torsion because we're just used to being a certain way for so long. So it just takes time to build that new memory of where our body should be. If we're all used to standing like this is going to feel normal. So when we stand like this becomes really foreign, and you'll feel like you're walking around like this because your normal has been always the opposite. So it's basically coming up with a new map of our body, and this is the whole awareness component, right?
Ooh,
You killed a bug!
I didn't mean
I'm just kidding.
Nature.
That's really fragile, that thing.
Okay, so if it's too uncomfortable, shake your legs out and then just go into a less extreme version. But if it is, it might feel foreign, but that's okay as long as it's not painful. Being uncomfortable is okay, right? Okay, so everybody try that.
So we're just doing this, the foot stance
We're
again.
just starting with the foot stance again. Yep, that's good. Get your hips back, look at your ankles. Everybody looks at the top of their ankles. Hazel, can you get your big toes towards each other a little bit more? Yeah, it almost is going to feel like you're pigeon-toed, okay? That's okay. Because we're aiming for that second toe line to be straight. Good.
Oh, I have a yoga mat in my car. Does that help?
Yep.
Sure. Sorry, I just had a moment.
That's okay. Okay, this knee, right? Was it? Okay. Bend your knees slightly. Open your knees. Feel your hips open. Good. Now keep your shoulders over your hips. Get your ribs down. Everybody feel that the ribs are down, like you're engaging your hips. If you don't know what that feels like, put one hand on your sternum, one hand on your pubic bone. Without moving your hands, bring the 2 points closer together. Yes. Good. Do you feel that? You're engaging your core without telling yourself, because we'll often say, suck in your belly, or squeeze your belly, or whatever it is that we say. Sometimes it's too much cueing. It's just bringing these 2 points closer together. So if you look at the person next to you, does it look like they are slumped over?
Hard to say because she's got this lovely fringe you want to see.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Well, it doesn't look like we're slouched over, right? But we might feel it,
Yeah.
right?
It feels
So
like it for
it
sure.
feels like
especially
we're
when you're looking
slouched
at your
over.
ankles.
Yes, but we're not. It's just we're used to this distance being so far apart from each other.
Well, and we've always heard good
And
posture.
yes.
Yes.
So you do want your shoulders to be back. I'm not asking you to round your shoulders. I'm just asking you to bring your hand and your pubic bone closer together. So your chest is still forward. We don't want our chest lifted because remember, when our chest is lifted, we're moving into a back bend, right? So we're not doing a back bend. We're also not rounding our back into a cat pose. Chest is forward, so we're still straight. We're still aligned, and then you still keep your shoulders back.
So it's a subtle movement.
It is a very subtle movement, but it feels hugely different in our bodies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so everybody is feeling good in their mountain? Got to memorize this mountain. 'Cause from here, we're going to do a chair. Tuck your bum under a little bit more. There you go. I know. Shift your weight back. Look down at your ankles. There. Okay, I know that feels very strange. If you're not sure, practice against a wall. Oh, I don't have a wall outside right now, but we'll find one later and you'll practice and you'll know that you aren't slouching. It just feels strange. Okay, so everybody find your chair. Don't move your feet, don't move your feet. Okay, that's okay then.
I'm much better than I used to be because I used to have bad hips.
Yes,
And I used to stand like this because I was always pregnant.
yes. You were always pregnant.
Because it's true. A while to figure that out.
Okay, do not squeeze your knees together. Okay, straighten your elbows. So we're not sliding down a wall. So our upper body from our hips to our fingertips should be a straight line at 45 degrees. Keep your ribs down. Do not lift your chest. Your chest is at a 45-degree angle. Elbows in. Elbows in. Engage your arms. Feel your shoulder blades.
Oh, I feel it.
Okay, everybody, step forward. Find the hands of your partner.
Already there.
Lift your arms up. Lift her arms up. Good. But shoot your bum down and back. Shoot your bum down and back. Put weight into your heels. Put weight into your heels. Shoulder, chest down. Chest down. Good. Everybody come back up. Okay, so who felt that in their quads?
I actually felt it in my knee. It didn't.
Okay, it didn't feel good. Okay, we have to correct that. Okay, so I'm gonna.
It right in here. A lot of pressure. I didn't like it.
Okay, so we're gonna start with our.
I don't know, when I get into my chair, so maybe this is not correct, I sink here first and I get my hips low.
Yes. So
And then I bring arms. And did we just do the opposite?
Yeah, we did arms first.
So maybe it's just a different way for me to get into it,
Okay.
right? Which is fine, but just like
Yeah,
have
for sure.
to not put it on my
Yes.
my knee.
Well, it's also what you're used to, right? So, but I'll go over it again. So we got to start with our good feet, and then you got to shift the weight from your hips, right? So we're basically sticking our bum back like we're gonna moon somebody. Okay, everybody stick your butt back. Keeping your knees straight. So we're not bending our knees yet. We're just sticking our bum back.
Oh.
Yep, we're not doing that. We're just getting used to bending from the hips. So from here, then you got to stay at 45 degrees, right? So some of us are like too upright in our back, right? And then we're going to put too much weight in our knees. So the work is coming from the hips. So we're at 45 degrees. Then you can bend your knees. Stick your bum back still. Keep your knees bent. Try to keep your shins as vertical as possible. Then you can lift your arms up. Feel the work in your bum. If you don't, tuck your bum a little bit more. You can reach for your hands, your partner's hand, lift them up. Awesome. Feel as if someone is dragging you back here. Good. Trust in the earth, it will catch your bum. Because when we don't trust our bum and our hamstrings, we're going to put more weight into our quads in the front of our knees and work our quads too much.
She's making you leave.
Keep your arm. Okay, then come back up. We're going to do this one by one. Okay.
This is a tricky one, right?
It is. You missed the memo on the feet.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
that's okay. Okay, so let's look at your feet. Good. Spread your toes.
Oh, thank
Yes.
They're fresh.
you. They are.
Okay. So your feet look good here, but your knees need to be a little softer. So bend your knees slightly and turn your knees outward without moving your feet. Bend this knee so they're even. Good. So open from your hips. Good. Okay. So from there, you're going to bend at your hips. We're just going to work with you first. So you're going to bend from your hips as far as you can, and then you're going to bend your knees. Put your weight in your heels. Good. Yes. So from here, you got to tuck your bum under a little bit. No, don't lift your chest. So your chest stays at 45 degrees. This is the angle of your chest, okay? So 45 degrees, and this is too much back arch, right? So we're going to tuck your bum under a little bit more.
Nancy's got to do like a class in
Get your arms up.
the vine.
Squeeze here.
Well, we'll do a
Good. Tuck-
small group.
Yeah.
Chest down more. Chest down more. Chest down
Because
more.
I
You
want
want to help everybody, but you can't. Like the class still has to keep
No, there will be a
going,
small
right?
group for her to do.
But this would be
And
fantastic.
Good.
register.
Do you feel the difference there?
I do, yeah.
Do you feel work here?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, awesome.
Do that too, yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's not hurt this knee again. Let's try that again, Lorna.
So what are you just?
You're gonna.
the little shorts.
I just feel bad that I'm not in yoga here. I was just a little,
No, you shouldn't.
okay.
This is the yoga can be done anywhere in anything.
Right.
Yes. Good. That looks good. Wait, don't lift your arms like you said. Keep your chest down without your shoulders staying down. That's the hard part. Yep. Don't slouch your shoulders. Just bring your chest down. Yes, this looks good. Now lift your arms. Yes. Good.
How's your knee?
Do you feel work
Good.
here?
No, it's good. My knee's fine.
Do you feel work here?
Yes.
Yes. Yay. Straighten your elbows, squeeze towards your ears. Let your arms help you. Good. Like almost like someone's pulling you that way, but the gravity's pulling you back towards the bottom edge of your mat. Awesome. Good. And exhale and come back up. Right, so we'll tend to do this. We'll see a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
In chair, and if the chest is too far forward and there's too much arch here, right? So getting that softness to bring the chest down without slouching. That's the challenge, right? So here's the chest, bring it down, no slouching. Shoulders can still stay back. Right? Okay.
I have to laugh when you say see my ankles because I have a barrier to see my ankles.
Let's get a still if I just.
Don't you dare!
I want it.
Okay. I don't have that problem.
We have all types who come in our classes, right? I actually make jokes about it in class. So.
That's why you have so many guys in your class.
Not at my
keeps
age.
coming back.
Totally not at my age.
Good. I like this. This is looking great. Chest in your bum. Put more weight in your heels. Good. Tilt your chest forward a little bit more. Down a little bit more. There you go.
Ooh.
There you go. This is that angle. This is the angle. That's good. Awesome.
Always need to know where does your neck, is it just in one straight line? Because I
Yes.
don't know where I'm looking.
Yes. So,
Because people tend to like look up.
well, they'll tend to look up at you at the teacher.
Right.
But actually for you, your shirt is perfect because if you look at the seam, can you go back into your chair pose? So this is a good way to tell, like this angle is what we're looking for. So if you bring your chest up and look up, see how this starts to lift up, right? So we want that angle to be straight. Okay, so, and then how you know for your neck is your biceps are always sandwiching your ears, right? So if your bicep, pardon?
Except when they can't.
Yes, and then you just look up slightly above that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's okay to look up at the teacher, but we don't want to be like that the whole class, right? So in line. So basically nothing moves, right? So from the crown of my head to my tailbone, nothing is moving. This posture, nothing is moving. I'm only moving my hips and knees for chair pose, right? So from here nothing's moving. My spine is exactly the same. Like there's a rod in my back and nothing's moving. That's how we're supposed to do chair.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I remember Katie doing it online with a hockey stick
Yes.
right on her, you know, to show that that back alignment was straight. So challenging.
Yeah. Are there any other poses that you guys wanted to go over?
Straight leg triangle.
Okay. Sure.
That's because people tend to bend forward to try and get depth
Mm-hmm.
rather than staying in alignment. So any cues we can give them for alignment.
Okay. So why don't you cue everybody your straight angle triangle and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Come to the front of your mats. Bend at the hips and knees. Step the right foot all the way back so that the toes are pointing towards the camera. And the front toes are pointing towards the front of your mat. Glance down, look for heel to arch alignment. Hips are straight. Then cock the right hip towards the back. Bring your arms to shoulder height. Flip the palms so that they're facing front. And then slowly lower your torso so that the left hand reaches the left shoulder. You can have a slight bend in that front knee. That's more comfortable. And think of your hip to your neck being in one straight line. And then inhale back up. That breeze is nice.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We gotta do the other side.
Okay. Cue the other side. I'm gonna watch it again, and then I'll give my, and then we'll watch them together.
Okay.
So everybody will have a pose that they get to cue.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Come to the front of your mat. Hands to your hips. Bend at the hips and knees. Step the left foot all the way back so that the toes are pointing to the tree. Straighten that front knee. Glance down. Look for heel to arch alignment so the heel of your right foot is aligned with the arch of your left foot. Arms come to shoulder height. Cock that left hip back towards your back. Flip your hands forward and slowly move your right hand down towards the right shin. Gaze can go up to the left fingertips. You can have a micro bend in that front knee. Usually I cue a block here.
Mm-hmm.
Have blocks.
So the
often-
cues looked great. Sounded great.
Okay.
And this crowd of people are doing it well.
Pretty
What-
much,
So
yeah.
what is the challenge you normally have in
So
a
the
class?
challenge I have with people is that they'll come down so far and then they'll do this
Okay.
because they want to get
All
further
the way
into
down.
their
I
stretch.
I usually say
Okay.
only as far as your hip doesn't creep forward.
Forward, yeah.
And then I usually say, as long as it doesn't start looking like this. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, and then they end up going back here.
Yeah, I do
Like
a
I
lot
show
of
them
hands-on
around.
adjustments in this particular pose, and I
try
talk
not to
about
touch
bad
people.
yoga. Do you ever talk about bad yoga? Breath, alignment, depth.
Oh, cool.
So start with your breath, do your alignment for
Yeah.
second, and depth comes absolutely last.
Awesome. I like that. Yeah, I guess I would say that this is a neutral
advanced-
spine
Yeah.
pose, so it's not a rotation. So if they're getting their arm down further, they're starting to rotate, right? And it's not a rotational
Okay.
pose. But yeah, I mean, this group did it well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I often cue it with a block too.
Yeah.
So
Put your
you've got
hand
the
on the
block
block.
in your hand and you're dropping it down. So it's already there for you.
I think maybe cueing the hip part again. I think because you said cueing so that your hips are straight. Like, what does that mean? Because that
Right,
might
'cause
mean
they could mean straight to the ground.
yes.
versus- Yeah.
So maybe saying square. Like, where did
Square
you
your
want?
hips
Where
to-
did you want the hips? Did you want them squared off, or did you want them open to the side?
Oh, of course, you want them open to the side. Right.
So,
Yeah.
so then, yeah.
I get
I would
them
say-
down and then I open them up.
Oh, okay. I haven't done that.
So I get them here, and then when you're feeling secure and your hips are aligned and you feel like you're grounded, then bring that left hand to your hip and then open up the hip and then extend up. That's how I.
But then, so would you cue the toes to point at the wall, or do you have them pointing forward?
I
The
have
back
my
toes.
toes pointing
To
Well, technically it's supposed to be at 45 degrees for a triangle, but a lot of people don't have that range of motion, right? And so in order for the hips to stay,
45 degrees. I've always
Yeah,
heard
I
it
don't
being at 90.
cue it the way you did it. With
I think I think lately,
So do I.
the front leg.
So do
Yeah.
I most of the time.
I think it originally started at 45 degrees, but it's been really hard to get most people.
Triangle from the forward fold over the front leg.
Yeah, and that I don't do because
So
And
with
then I'll open you up.
yeah, because with the triangle, it's kind of
Matt's
complete. It's kind of two completely different poses to do open hips or
versus
closed,
hips, yeah.
and they're
But
very
both
different.
straight like
And
triangle.
so if you do a 45, then you're more closed, and some people cue it that way.
A pyramid pose.
Whereas, yeah, so this one is more open. So you'd have the foot
But
open.
if you're
so it
doing
depends.
like a hands-on adjustment to somebody,
Mhm.
you're getting and you're opening the hip,
Mhm.
right? Isn't that the whole goal for
Yeah.
the triangle?
Yeah, but it depends on, I guess, how you're cueing it. But yeah, you want it to be a hip opener, so then you'd have the block here. So basically you want them to stay open as much as possible. And if they're closing it off, then they're going
Yeah,
too
and I
far.
think I've been cueing more the torso rather than the hips, so I'll focus more on the
Like
hips
half
to
the
open.
people can't even reach the block.
It's a hard pose.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's a really hard, like
People
even
get to
here,
the,
exactly.
inner, like knee, just above the knee.
Yeah,
And then if you're in a good position, then come down to the calf.
because they'll still reach for the block.
Yeah, if you tell
So-
them.
And it seems to be like 50-50, either have hand inside the foot or outside the foot. And even in our teacher training, Katie was always outside and Elena was inside.
That's true.
Yeah, it depends on the comfort of the teacher too.
But it doesn't matter from your stand, like from.
No, it doesn't matter.
From the pelvic
It
line
doesn't matter
Point of view.
because it shouldn't affect the back hip. It shouldn't affect the back hip.
And Elena would come in and cue it on the inside.
Right.
For the spine's sake, it's easier on the inside. For the hip's sake, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right, because here you can, it's easier to keep your
So
spine.
on the
yeah.
inside would be better for a new.
Yeah, for someone who's not doing yoga often, then yeah. Yeah.
What time do we have?
It is 20 past 12.
Oh, right, okay.
So we just to keep on with food and all that.
Yeah,
Um,
so we can wrap up this part of
whatever
it. Yeah.
whatever you're kind of like.
Do you need something else for your
No.
goal
No.
Like, is there something specific you wanted to?
No, I just wanted to go over kind of just really the awareness of like all the little subtleties of a pose, starting from the foot to, you know, how we do a back bend or how we feel, you know, our downward dog and the openness and closing of our hips. Just those like in the most basic yoga poses. And that's all I really wanted to start you guys thinking. For the workshop that I want to teach at the yoga conference will be like a 6-hour workshop. So I'd get into more details and all that.
I love anatomy.
Well, I'm setting this video in for an application for the yoga conference to teach. Yeah, to teach
I
there.
have a question for
Yeah.
Nancy. Do you cue engaging the glutes in your back bends?
Yes. Do you want to do one quickly
You know
on
what I
the
mean,
like
that
do
into
do an
YTT?
upward dog?
Historically, you're told for any back bend to soften the glutes, but a lot of like physios and more like movement
protects the back.
based. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more protecting.
But bridge used to be soft glutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's just
Okay,
impossible.
so okay,
It's a big
it's a yeah.
area of
Just
contention.
Yeah.
So for an upward dog, I will cue squeezing the bum, but for bridge, I don't.
Okay,
And
why's the
squats,
difference?
I don't.
So our anatomy, Steve was really saying squeeze and glue.
Yeah,
I always
So okay, so when I say to squeeze versus not, 'cause in general when we move our bodies, when you're lifting something, you don't say squeeze your biceps, right? And I don't generally believe in saying squeeze your core because you're getting your body to work more than it has to. So if we cue alignment, then all the right muscles will work. Just like when I cue the mountain pose and we got our, you know, top hand over the bottom hand, you bring them closer together, that's an alignment cue. You felt your core engage without that cue of squeezing, right? And so I generally won't say squeeze your core, squeeze your bum, squeeze your biceps, I won't say that. But in a back bend, it's not a move that we generally do. So people will forget to activate it at all. And so that's why I say to squeeze it, because then that will automatically turn them on to squeezing it. but do I believe that we need to hang on to it for dear life and forget about the rest of, you know what I mean? So I do in that kind of back bend and an upward dog, but in a bridge, not usually. You should be able to use enough glute work to get it going.
And squeezing, you're just not cueing it. because
Right,
now
you're-
you are doing it anyway.
Yeah, like you're activating your glutes, but you're not squeezing. Because I think when people hear the cue squeeze, they go to the end, and that's not necessary. Whereas,
too, like the whole
yes,
tensed up. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Might send the wrong picture.
yeah. But so in an upward dog, I'll say squeeze the glutes just because people won't do it at all. So if I get them to think about it, then they'll do it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But in a squat, people are already using it, so I don't say squeeze your bum, and then they're gonna be like here, right? Because you squeeze the bum at the end, you're gonna go all the way to the end. So it depends, and it also depends on person to person. For some people, squeeze your core is the only cue that ever works for them because that's what they've trained. And so if you're working with a small group and you know the people you're working with, and you use the cues that works for them. But if I'm teaching a bigger class, like I taught a 40-person class, like I would never use like really broad, or too broad or too specific that, you know, not everybody would connect to them. So it's always best to use alignment cues. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well,
We'll just
let's,
have to do it again. Like I think we'll just have to include little
yeah.
pieces
Cool.
and maybe pick one or two poses we know, you know, and then we kind of have our thoughts around it. We're even prepared to, or if people want to just think about a pose that they want to work on more, like that for you, or you get stuck in class, how do you get them out of something, or you see and
Yeah.
and then we could do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love it. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for being here with me. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that wraps up my portion. If we can spend just a couple of minutes, can we do some pictures in the pool, by the pool and in the great room, and then
With
In the
mats or
pool?
no mats?
no, not in
By
the pool,
the
by the
pool.
pool. Yes, by the pool. No mats. No mats.
No mats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get in already.
Wait, can we get a picture for us?
Yeah.
And then with the mats out?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Hi guys. Isn't that warm?
Pardon? Yep.
Sorry, I know it doesn't do you justice.
He can just use his camera.